Hey everybody, so in this video I wanted to talk a little bit more about on-balance volume. Now this is a pretty nifty indicator. So essentially what this is doing is it is basically grabbing the volume profile and then you could look at it side by side with the actual price action. So in this example we're going to look at SPY. So I'm just going to lower this down a little bit. Now, if we're looking at SPY right here with this price action, we can see that we were making higher highs. And if you guys remember, this was when we made those all-time highs early in 2022. So this was an interesting time because remember, everybody knew that rate hikes were going to occur. But for some reason, the stock market kept going up. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. But if you're looking at the on-balance volume, you're essentially looking for divergences. So most of the time, on-balance volume is following price action. So you can see right here, COVID crash, boom, boom. And then you can see, okay, QE, quantitative easing, all of that, lowering interest rates, and then you see on-balance volume going up. But then look what happens right here. So this is essentially around that time where we made those all-time highs. So if I'm just looking at this time frame right there, so look at this time frame right here. So as you guys can see, on balance volume, it essentially made a high right here. But then we were making higher highs on the price action. But on balance volume was actually going down. So this is essentially saying, hey, you know what? We're making these higher highs on this lower volume. So this right here is a divergence. So normally, this thing is following price action. But right here, it's clear divergence. Price action is going up, on balance volume is going down. So that is what you call a divergence. Now, look right here. So this was one of the more recent bear market rallies that we had. And if we're looking at this, we can see that price action is clearly going up, but on balance volume right here, let me zoom in on this a little bit. So price action is going up right here, but on balance volume is essentially the same as when it was right here. So as you guys can see, it basically made this double top. We're not making higher highs in this volume profile. It essentially just double topped. But right here, we're making higher highs in the price action. So look what happened next. We basically tanked. And you can see that with the volume profile as well. So volume profile was saying, hey, you know what? We're going up on weaker volume. We're not going up on this strong volume, but price action is doing the opposite. So that's another divergence right there. So price action is going up, volume is basically staying flat. Now, I'm going to show you the best example of this, which I think is in the IWM. So if you didn't know, the IWM is basically the Russell 2000. It's following the Russell 2000. And you can see that the IWM was essentially just chopping around for a very, very long time. It had this massive COVID rally. Then for the longest time, it was chopping around. You can see that it was chopping around because it was essentially just waiting for this 200-day moving average to basically move towards the 50-day. And then you can see that the 50-day and the 200 moving average, they collided. And then to avoid this collision, we saw price action jump. But then essentially price action jumped only to make a massive death cross. And yeah, that's essentially the situation. So this was a massive, massive rug pull on the IWM. And I actually remember that I got caught up in this rug pull. I thought that this rally was real, but this is when I didn't know about all these fancy indicators. This was when I was pretty much almost starting out. So I was pretty fresh at this time. And I thought, oh my gosh, IWM is making a new high. It's going to all-time highs. But no, this was just a rug pull. So let's look at some of the things in the on-balance volume that would have told us that this was a rug pull. So as you guys can see, we made this massive volume profile right here. And then since this point right here, price action has just been going higher. But on-balance volume hasn't really done a whole lot. Now, right here, when we essentially saw this double topping pattern right there, on-balance volume was basically higher in this first top. And then in the second top, it was actually lower. So right here, we see a clear divergence where the volume profile was going down, but the price action was looking like it was going to make new highs, but it only made a double top, as you guys can see right here. So yeah, the second top right there had weaker volume right there. Now, if we're looking at this point in time where we made these all-time highs, well, look at the on-balance volume profile. That is kind of hard to say, so I'm just going to call it OBV from now on. So if we're looking at OBV, you can see that when we made this all-time high, we essentially didn't do an all-time high on OBV. the volume profile was higher up here. So this was also a very clear sign that, hey, you know what? This might actually not be a real rally, and this might actually be a rug pull. And then we clearly saw that going forward. So this is basically an introduction to OBV, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.